Yeah, we're ready. Marty, Jason, ready? Oh, sorry. Call to order the regular Board of Aldermen meeting located at the Salado Municipal Building at 301 North Stagecoach Road. The time is 6:30 p.m. Ms. Bean, please call the roll.
Let the record show all present.
Thank you, ma'am. For the invocation, as we begin the Board of Aldermen meeting, let us take a moment to reflect on our shared commitment to serve the diverse community of the Village of Salado. We invite all present, regardless of faith, belief, or philosophy, to join us in a spirit of unity, respect, and compassion. May our deliberations be guided by wisdom, our decisions rooted in fairness, and our actions driven by the common good. Whether you find inspiration in a higher power, the bonds of humanity, or the wonders of nature, let us work together to build a culture where every voice is heard and every individual is valued. Let's take a moment, please. Thank you. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag and the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one faith, under God, one indivisible. Thank you. Item 1, public comments. The Board of Aldermen welcomes comments from citizens on issues and items of concern not on the agenda. Those wishing to speak must sign in before the meeting begins and observe a 5-minute time limit when addressing the board. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak during this time period. Speakers desiring to speak on an agenda item will be allowed to speak when the agenda item is called. Inquiries about matters not listed on the agenda will either be directed to staff or placed on a future agenda for Alderman consideration. We've got Mr. Larry Michaels.
Larry Michaels, 1346 Meadows, Texas, 571. Alderman, Mayor. First off, I'd like to compliment you on the apparent transparency. Seeing now, I am not a citizen of the village, but great thing. One thing I'm concerned about is we used to have a bi-weekly update on Mustang Spring. Haven't seen that in probably 3 months, 4 months. And there's rumors going around, they're telling their landowners, well, you start house construction come September, we're going to have an operational water system. 18 months ago, they said they were going to have the CCN resolved at Georgia, and still no progress. I don't know how they can have an operational water system, not have CCN, not have a certificate to be a water conveyor, and be delivering water. And I think it's time that you have to come in and have a discussion about all of these 45 are missing from the development. In-depth conversation about that pretty different questions. I'll find those questions required.
Thank you. You can do that. Mr. De La Rosa, can we get that on the next agenda item on the next meeting to discuss Mustang Springs? Anybody else have any public comments at this time? Thank you, Mr. Michaels. Appreciate you. Item 2, recognition. Presentation of the Life-Saving Award to Police Officer Edward Burden. Chief Fields. Howdy.
here in December doing this. It's always a proud moment when I get the opportunity to recognize the exceptional actions of a member of our staff. And it is with great pride that I bring this matter before the board. Got to have Officer Purdy step up, please. The Salado Police Department Life Saving Award is given to an individual, whether officer or citizen, who makes a major contribution towards saving the life of another person by providing essential medical treatment prior to the arrival of emergency medical personnel. On May the 24th, 2024, Officer Ferdin was on patrol in the area of IH-35, southbound Service Road, attempting to locate a possible stolen vehicle. We had a stolen vehicle block kit in the area, attempting to locate that vehicle. While in that area, he observed vehicular traffic on IH-35 begin to slow abruptly. He went to investigate the situation and came upon a two-vehicle traffic accident. Traffic accident was at the 284 mile marker southbound. The incident involved the pickup truck that struck a disabled truck tractor semi-trailer that was on the side of the roadway. The sideswipe impact resulted in the passenger side of the pickup truck being peeled open like a tin can and causing devastating injuries to both passenger side occupants. Officer Ferdin ran to provide aid to the occupants. Unfortunately, the first occupant was found deceased in the back seat. The second occupant was found with severe bleeding from both partially severed right arm and partially severed right leg. Officer Ferdin immediately recognized the severity of the situation and began life-saving measures. Two tourniquets were placed, one on the upper right arm, one on the right leg. While doing so, Officer Ferdin remained calm, speaking with and reassuring the occupant. Shortly thereafter, Salado Fire EMS personnel arrived on scene. Sergeant Duncan happened to be the second officer on scene. He met with Chief Bronze and firefighter paramedic Ryan Poe. During their conversation, they advised him that he said they could not stop telling him how good of a job Officer Ferdin did and how perfect the application of the tourniquets were. He further stated that had it not been for Officer Ferdin's actions, the victim would have bled out prior to EMS even arriving. This is corroborated by an email I received the next day from Chief Bronze, which states Officer Ferdin's quick reaction and cool-headed thinking in applying the tourniquets were why the patient was successfully delivered to the hospital. Chief Bronze concluded by saying, "I can confidently say Officer Ferdin's actions were life-saving. The Salado community is fortunate to have an officer of such high caliber and selfless action. Therefore, after careful consideration and based on the recommendations received from eyewitnesses, it's my honor to present Officer Edward Ferdin with the Salado Police Department Life Saving Award. This is his second life saving award in the last 9 months. Please join me in congratulating Officer Ferdin. And I would like to make another quick comment. Calls for service of this nature take a toll, both physically and mentally, on an officer, on any first responder that has to go through things like this. If unrecognized, they can lead to workforce burnout, self-destructive coping mechanisms, and self-harm. With that being said, I would like to publicly thank Larry Bird, back here in the back of the room, from the Belton Police Department. After learning of this incident and Officer Ferdin's actions and what he had to do, I immediately contacted Chief Bird, because his agency houses the Central Texas Regional Office of the Texas Law Enforcement Peer Network. Chief Bird arranged the services of Ricky Jackson, a member of the Peer Support Network, to assist Officer Ferdin with this situation. It's partnerships like that that mean the most to me. I'm the most proud of, because they have a direct impact on the quality of life of our officers, which also has a direct impact on the quality of the police services that we're allowed to provide, that we're able to provide. So with that, sir, thank you very much.
Chief. I want to add to that. Officer Ferdin, we are very fortunate to have you with the Salado Police Department. There are officers that wait their entire career and never receive an award like you've just received, and that your second one in 9 months. That's significant in my eyes, and I believe that the board will agree with that. It's just a testament to your just ability to respond to things in a way that you need to, and remain calm under those type of situations. And Chief Berger, we appreciate you and your team and stepping in to help them out with that. That's all part of critical incident stress management, and I'm proud that we have that partnership with Belton, and we certainly appreciate it. Officer Burton, if anything we can do, don't hesitate to reach out. No matter what time it is, you're never. This is something you're probably going to live with for the rest of your life. You're not going to forget it. Don't hesitate to reach out to somebody, to speak to somebody, please. But thank you so much. We appreciate you. And to his family, great job. Your mom's here. Thank you for Officer Burton. We appreciate you. Thank you. Let's give him a hand one more time. Item 3 is a presentation report on the International Make Music Day event. And we have Miss Catherine Malloy, who is a member of the music-friendly community. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Miss Malloy, what you got for us?
Well, good evening. For those of you that don't, I've met most of you except for you guys. But I'm Catherine Malloy, as he said, and I am I'm on the Make Music Friendly Board. And back in February or March, is my microphone? Is that better? Is that better? Can you hear me? Okay. The Alderman have approved us to the board to join as a chapter member for the Make Music Alliance. And I just wanted to kind of bring you up to speed of what the Make Music Alliance has, what we're doing with it. But first, thank you for letting us be a part of that. So the Make Music Alliance offers chapter members a platform for city hosts, and I'll kind of explain what city host is here in a little bit, to organize Make Music Day events such as offering website templates, press release templates, marketing strategies, and a Gemini program, which kind of mix venues and musicians together, and tons of support for the chapter members. They also supply a limited number of instruments for the Make Music Day event. And for those of you that don't know what Make Music Day is, it started 42 years ago in France and has become an international music holiday across the world. The annual celebration occurs on June 21st of every year, where people from 1,000 cities and 120 countries join in making music together. This June, I spearheaded Salado's first Make Music Day event as the city host. I presented my idea to the advisory board to have the largest drum circle ever at a historic site here in Salado, and they approved it. I asked Mayor Bert Henry if he would lead the drum circle, as I knew he told me that he has some experience in that. So he was kind enough to accept my request, and without having available funds for music equipment, I had asked two bands to provide us with the equipment such as microphones, amplifiers, things of that nature, so that Bert Henry could basically teach people basic drum beats. So the band came, sat up early, and Mayor Bert Henry used the microphone to teach adults and children basic rhythm techniques, and that kind of eventually led into an impromptu drum session. The band, after the drum circle, played a complimentary show, which was pretty cool. The family-friendly drum circle event pulled in approximately 80 people. Most people on the sign-in sheet were Saladians, but We also have people from Killeen, Belton, Temple, and most excitingly, a few people from New York and Pennsylvania. Out of the 54 drumsticks that Make Music Alliance provided us, I handed out 36 pairs. The rest of the people were like little kids or just wanted to kind of be spectators and check it all out. So we have about 20 left over that we could use for next year or something else. I encouraged folks to bring their own instrument of choice, whether it be drums, buckets, trash cans, lids, whatever they could think of. And we even had an empty keg, and I'm sure y'all know who showed up with that. So Katie had a blast hitting her, banging on her keg. But anyway, I saw a sea of people, just families having a blast. Families, friends, everybody. It was just what the community, it was so community-like, and everybody had a blast. And so I feel it was a great success for our first Make Music Day event, and I'm looking forward to the following year. So do y'all have any questions about the event?
So what kind of percussion work have you done, Mayor Henry?
Well, that's not on the agenda item. We'll talk about that later.
But, yeah, thank you again for doing that. It was great.
My pleasure.
So.
I look forward to the next one.
Well done. Thank you, ma'am.
Come on back up here, Kat. So all that and that agenda item was really just a ploy to get her up here so I can do what I'm about to do. From the state of Texas Village of Salado proclamation, whereas the Village of Salado, Texas recognizes the importance of music in enriching our community and fostering cultural connections, and whereas International Make Music Day is a global celebration of music that brings people together to create and enjoy music in all its forms, and whereas Catherine Malloy, a dedicated member of the music-friendly community advisory board, has demonstrated exceptional leadership and commitment to bringing International Make Music Day to Salado. And whereas, through her passion, hard work, and approximately 200 hours of dedication, Catherine Malloy has made an indelible impact on our community's cultural landscape. And whereas, her efforts have resulted in a highly successful event, drawing an estimated 80 participants from as far as Pennsylvania and New York, as well as surrounding Central Texas counties. And whereas, under Catherine Malloy's guidance, Salado has achieved the distinction of creating the largest drum circle on a historic site, showcasing our village's rich heritage and vibrant musical spirit. Now, therefore, I, Bert Henry, Mayor of the Village of Salado, Texas, do hereby recognize and commend Catherine Malloy for her outstanding contributions to our community and her instrumental role in making International Make Music Day a resounding success in Salado. Her dedication to promoting music and bringing our community together serves as an inspiration to all. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the Village of Salado to be affixed this 18th day of July, 2024. Village of Salado, Texas, Mayor Bert Henry. Okay, now that all the fun stuff's out of the way. Item 4, consent agenda. A, approval of minutes of July 2nd, 2024 special Board of Aldermen meeting. B is approval of financial reports ending June 30th, 2024. And C, acknowledge receipt of petition for release from Village of Salado extraterritorial jurisdiction from Ms. Janet May Kennedy. Mr. De La Rosa, do you have anything to add to that? That's right, no. Any questions?
Move to adopt consent agenda.
Motion to adopt and approve the consent agenda as presented by Mayor Pro Tem Bell and seconded by Alderman Hurst. Any other questions? Question been called by Alderman Graham. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda as written, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? That passes, Ms. Bean, 4-0. Item 5 is discuss and consider possible action regarding any item removed from the consent agenda. There are none. Item 6, status reports. A, the Village Administrator's Report, introduction of new city planner Gina Pence, and sales tax collections. Mr. De La Rosa.
Mayor and Alderman, good evening. I'm happy to report that we have a new city planner on board. This is her 7th day with the city, so I appreciate the hiring, and it's been very good having her on board, and she's certainly helping me get a lot of things moving forward. So you'll hear as you'll wave. So. Any questions about anything on that, Mayor?
Just a quick comment. Ms. Pence, thank you very much for being here. This has been a long time coming for this village to have somebody in your position, and I know that Manny's going to have you, you know, not just a special projects officer or anything like that. You're really going to fill the title of what the job requirements are, and I'm just super thankful for what I know is going to come out of the work the two of you are going to do together. So thank you very much. Definitely needed.
What do you got?
That's all I got.
Okay.
You want me to cover the next item, tax collections? Okay, sales tax collections for the month of June 2024, which is reflective of May, you received $67,450 sales tax. So, and the previous year, June of 2023, $67,257, so very close. And then in June of 2022, $66,000, so just a little over $1,000 more. So you're trending the same. I mean, it's not flat line, but it's pretty close. But at least it's not going to get less than. Any other questions for me?
Randy, do you recall what was May 2024?
No, sir, I don't. Oh, you have your packet.
I'll find it. Thanks.
Any other questions for Manny on that? All right, thank you. Item B, Police Chief Status Report. Chief Fields.
Mayor, members of the Alderman. We had 419 calls for service last month. That's a drop of 30. 9 priority 1, down 11. Only one that actually went up were our priority 3, priority 4 calls for service. We were up 42 particular calls on that. The previous month prior to this, we were at 14 point something calls for service. We're at 13.96 calls for service per day. So we're staying about average. You look at the left is May, the right is June. You can see these are calls for service by day of the week. May, we were really busy, especially on Fridays. That has leveled out. Wednesday was our busiest day here, and looking back on some of the incidents, they were weather related due to rains and flooding and cars liking to slide into each other whenever water hits the ground. So with that being said, the majority of the calls for service on the Wednesdays, making that a little higher, were due to weather related incidents. The calls for service on time of day have kind of stayed about the same. We did have a drop, correction, we did have a spike right about the 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock hour. But with that being said, overall, the calls for service are down. We did make 4 arrests last month. We took 20 incident reports. 9 of those were supplemental reports, and we did respond to actual 10 crashes that we worked the accidents on. We did respond to several other accidents that were on I-35, but they were worked by the Texas Department of Public Safety. There were 88 traffic stops made. Of that, 66 citations were issued, 43 citations were issued, 66 warnings were issued, with an enforcement rate of 48.86. Remember last time that was in the lower 30s, so we bumped that up a little bit. 8 other, or assist other agencies. We did not go to grand jury. Some of the notable calls for service. June the 8th, we had a possession of marijuana and possession of controlled substance incident that occurred. Officer was dispatched to a disturbance near the intersection of Salado Plaza and Main. When he got there, he made contact with an Uber driver who had picked up a fare at the Austin Bergstrom Airport and was on his way taking him to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, at which time the fare in the backseat decided it was going to be a good idea to smoke a little cocaine. So he decided to pull over. They became involved in a verbal altercation, and as a result, we made arrest for possession of marijuana, possession of controlled substance, only in Salado. Nobody was associated with the Salado. They just happened to be passing through. June 16th, we had a warrant arrest. It happened in the 700 block of Rose Way. We were notified by the Texas Department of Criminal Justice that a blue warrant had been issued on a parolee who failed to meet a specific requirement of his parole. We went over and made contact with the individual, taken into custody without any incident. June 20th, we had a DWI, duty upon striking and a resisting arrest. This is the first use of force. I've been here almost a little over a year. This is the first use of force we've had with the department. Individual was leaving Brookshire's, was intoxicated, struck a vehicle in the parking lot, attempted to leave. When officers got there, he did poorly on field sobriety test, was advised that he would be arrested for driving while intoxicated and duty upon striking, at which time he decided he did not want to be arrested. He was convinced that it was probably a good idea to go ahead and be arrested. So with that being said, the individual was taken into custody. Minimum amount of force necessary was used to make that apprehension, and there were no injuries involved. June 24th, we had a DWI crash. Officer was dispatched to a crash on I-35, 284, 283 northbound. Got on scene. On scene investigation revealed the driver to be intoxicated. Arrest was made. June 25th, vehicle fire. I know everybody's seen this one on social media. A gentleman was pulling a trailer northbound I-35, looked in his rearview mirror, saw smoke coming from his trailer. Salado Main Street was the first exit he could take. So he took the first exit he could take, get off the interstate. That brought him right downtown. Made a right-hand turn onto College, got out, at which time his trailer was fully engulfed. Fire department got there, did an excellent job. Got the vehicle the trailer was removed from the vehicle. Fire was put out. No major problems on that. June 26th, we were dispatched to a forgery in progress, local banking institution. Subject departed prior to our arrival. However, during the course of the investigation, we determined who the individual was. Not only did we determine who the individual was, we got a warrant for him. Then, during the investigation, we also realized, or we found out that he had also done this at the Horizon Bank in Temple. So we alerted Temple, and Temple has got a warrant as well, based on our investigation. So, and then the last, we had an EOD, came in as a possible overdose. Turned out not to be an overdose. It was accidental. One of our citizens accidentally took a little too much medication. We did do an EOD, which is emergency order of detention, just to make sure. However, that has worked itself out and everything. Response times. Priority 1, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. That's about where I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it between 3 and 4 minutes. Priority 2, a little bit slower on our priority 2. Where we're going to start concentrating, or where I need to start concentrating on, is our priority 3 and priority 4. Granted, these are low priority calls. They're not urgent, in progress type calls, but I still believe 6 minutes and 33 seconds is probably a little long to wait for an officer in the town. 2.8 square miles. We did do 31 house checks. That number is actually a little bit down, but with the end of summer coming in, I believe there's going to be some more vacations, so that number will probably go up a little bit. The flock report, we had 35,715 unique license plates retained this during this time frame. We did not use any of them for investigative purposes. We did have 84 system alerts. So system alerts, stolen vehicles from other agencies. Some alerts that we put in ourselves if we currently have an individual who has dementia. So we try to make sure that whenever that individual is out driving, we kind of guide them to where they need to go. Some of the other alerts, 540 alerts, gang member, things like that. Again, 35,715 plates read. We deleted 50,973 plates from the system. A while back, I talked to you about the flock system and how it probably needed to be rethought, reevaluated. Our village limits have expanded since cameras were initially installed. With that being said, there have been several holes. We've had a couple of incidents where we had some burglaries that occurred, and we didn't catch the vehicle. So with that being said, there is an issue. We also saw a noticeable drop-off of clarity after dark. I have made contact with Flock. That is a software issue. They are in the process of updating the software. We are not alone in that. We are not the first agency. We probably won't be the last agency to call them and say, hey, can we get a better, more clear shot at night? Unknown at this time if that's actually going to have a cost associated with it. But as long as it's a software issue, it's not a camera issue, hardware issue, so we'll do on that. These are the locations of the 10 cameras throughout town. I'm not going to talk about each and every one of them, but there are a couple that I would like to speak about. This is an overhead shot, Royal, where Drake's Landing, Catherine Avenue enters right there. The yellow dot on the left-hand side of the screen is on Smith Branch Road. That's where the previous location of the camera was. When I got here, that camera had just been taken down. The reason it had been taken down is because it was placed in a location where there's a lot of tree cover. It has a solar panel. It was not getting proper sunlight. It was not functioning properly. With the introduction of Drake's Landing, you can see that an individual traveling eastbound on Royal can make a right-hand turn on Catherine, can make a left-hand turn on Logan, and can completely bypass that camera altogether. So with that being said, I've already made contact with Flock, and I'm in the process of moving that camera further back down west of Catherine so that we don't have that problem anymore. This is Royal. The aforementioned slide brought me to this one. You look at the yellow dot on the right-hand side of the screen this time. That is the Flock camera that's on Royal near Rose Way. By moving the camera off of Smith Branch onto Royal, that makes this camera redundant. The camera will be getting the same information that the previous camera is getting, with the exception of if a vehicle comes through the sanctuary. It's my suggestion that we move that a little bit further down, closer to where Provencio, I hope I said that right, is located at. And the reason being, I think we could pick up a lot more vehicular traffic. That's a very busy area. I think we could pick up a lot more vehicular traffic at that location. Second off, we have a lift station there that we've had issues with at the past, and I would like to put that very in close proximity to that lift station that can help us keep vehicles away from there in case we need to get in and do something at that lift station. So that's where I would suggest putting this camera. It also keeps vehicles that are coming off of I-35, taking the Main Street exit, making a right-hand turn on Royal. Prior to having this camera moved, they can make a left on the center and then go back into the housing areas undetected because the camera on Royal was so far up there. Needed to bring it a little bit closer to a major thoroughfare. And the last one is 2268 in Baines. The yellow dot on the left-hand side of the screen is right at the, I guess that's the south side or south end of the Salado Cemetery. As you can see, there is one street in between. I believe it's Santa Rosa. There's a street in between, so you can actually come off of 2268, make a left-hand turn on Santa Rosa, work your way through the neighborhood, and then come back out onto Baines. So you can actually bypass that camera. So that's probably not a great location to begin with. Probably needs to be moved a little bit closer to 2268. You also see on the right-hand side of the screen, there's 2 dots. The middle dot is on Salado Oaks. Vehicles can travel down Salado Oaks, hit the private drive that's on the back, come out on the north end of the cemetery, completely bypassing the camera things. The dot on the right is the back entrance to the sanctuary by Castle Rock. That's actually Hanks Boulevard. Turning in there gives you unrestricted access to the majority of the town. So with that being said, you probably need to get those holes covered. There is a cost associated with this. I'm not expecting this to be in the upcoming budget, but I think it's something that we should look at and we should probably plan for in the near future. $750 to relocate a current camera. If you have a current camera on a current pole is installed by Flock, they will move it to another location of our choosing for $750. Does not negate the fact that we still pay the $3,000 per camera usage fee annually. Now, if we purchase brand new cameras, it's $3,000 for the camera, $750 for the first installation of that camera. That's for stationary cameras only. And we do have to continue with the $3,000 per year maintenance fee for data access. So unfortunately, there is a cost to moving them, but I believe we probably should think about doing this sometime in the near future. My suggestion would be to see how things go with the budget, and then let's readdress this in April of next year, halfway through the budget, so we can see where we're at, and this is something that we can work towards. Give you a little update on us. Training-wise, I conducted training with the Temple Police Academy Class 2024B, Professionalism and Ethics. At our last range day, when we go to the range, we don't go to the range just to qualify. We go to the range to find deficiencies. One of the deficiencies we found was I had an officer that could use a little bit more training on a patrol rifle. He qualified? Yes, he qualified. But could use a little bit more training on patrol rifle. So we got him into the patrol rifle course by the Cleveland Police Department. That was actually a free course. We got a free seat in that class, so you might as well take advantage. I'd like to bring up Officer Manning, which is in the room. You guys have heard for the last 6 months we talk about Officer Manning's doing really great. He's number 2 in the class. He's squad leader. He's doing great. Well, he finally graduated. He did graduate on July the 11th. He officially started on patrol on July the 15th, and I wanted to take this opportunity. I don't know if you guys have met him. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you. This is Officer Manning with this officer. Glad to hear. Welcome to the team. While I'm thinking about Temple, this happened after I made the PowerPoint and sent it forward. I got contacted by I got a phone call from a contact of mine with the Temple Police Department. He does quartermaster, and he said, "Hey, Chief, we're in the process of transitioning over from Taser X2 to Taser X7 or Taser 7. We've got a few extra tasers. We were wondering if you would like to get your hands on them." And I said, "Well, I've got a couple of officers that are coming in that probably won't have tasers. So yes, I would love to get my hands on a couple. What price can I get them for?" He said, "Don't worry about price. I'll bring you 10. So, 10 X2 tasers, brand new, never issued. 10 holsters, brand new, never issued. 30, I believe, cartridges for them. Very expensive, never issued. And extra batteries for them. Never issued. Still in great shape. Rough estimate, $25,000. $20,000 worth of equipment. So, with that being said, it's always good to have connections. When I was in the military, I learned that you never talk bad about nurses, and you never talk bad about supply. You just supply and simple, and you never talk bad about supply. Cadet update. We did bring on another cadet. We have one in the academy right now. Cadet Troubeau began June the 17th. The very first day of the class, he was promoted to class leader. Something to be pretty proud of. They have a class leader similar to a platoon sergeant, and then they have squad leaders for each one of the three squads. So with that being said, our candidate is the platoon leader. I'll entertain any questions.
Chief, just real quick, how many are we looking at moving in terms of the SWAT cameras?
I have one being moved right now. I have that already set on that last year's budget. I would need one more move and possibly two brand new.
That answers my second question. That's all I have.
We're looking at approximately $9,000.
Mr. Dollars.
Is what?
My question for Mr. Dollars.
Okay. That's what they're there. What I believe there was, this is before I came on the Board of Aldermen, there was a discussion about these block cameras and having some new developments. New QT would be a good example. McDonald's County would be another example of having them pay for these block cameras as things continue to expand. I want to go take a look at some of those development agreements and see if that's in there. If so, that would be some cost saving to us, and then we don't have to wait till April.
If a new housing development is coming in, it may be good for a homeowners association to make that purchase for grant access.
Or the developer, we can put in those type of things in those agreements. Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You said you had a question for
Mr. Del Rosa, and Mayor Henry, you actually touched on it already. Impact fees. We can use impact fees to help provide for these SWAT systems. Am I saying that correctly? Are we allowed to use impact fees to help provide for security?
Which part impact fees?
I'm saying developer, sorry, probably the wrong language, not impact fees. Let me do this first. So are we able to ask developers as they bring in new developments in here, like McDonald's, as the mayor said, are we able to ask them to provide for those types of resources?
You can certainly request it. It's not required. Your parkland dedication fees and your impact fees are required by ordinance, and they're usually in incentive packages to whether you collect it or not. Any other incentives would be whether negotiated up front, right? For example, if you wanted to large subdivision and it's going to create a burden on your community, and you need an additional police station, police cars, those are all negotiated at that time, and those are entered into the development agreement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item 6C, Tourism Department report. Ms. Deanna Whitson.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are y'all this evening?
Hello, ma'am.
All right. So on our visitor report this evening, the first we're going to talk about is our Visit Salado, Texas website. And as you can see, we had 169 users, 164 sessions. Our page views were 1,218, and downloads for Android was 15, and Apple is 15, and Android is 5. And then on our visitor center, we had 352 visitors. For our numbers for our users and our sessions, those numbers have increased. Our page views and our downloads have gone down. As you can see in the bottom, we don't have any big upcoming events coming, but what we do have now is our QR code. And our QR code will tell you anything and everything that's going on in the community, provided that the businesses are giving us their events that they are putting on their Facebook. And Melanie, and my team, we're working on putting that in there, and then we're also now getting out into the community to let the business owners know that that's the option is open. At first, at one point in time, our QR code is just your app that you get on your phone, and it wasn't working. So it's been working now about 3 weeks. We've been working with the company to get it set up. We've got events now going on there, and we're also notifying our businesses and letting them know, hey, please let us know. You can now submit an event to us, and then we can look through it, and then it'll get on our app. And so we're very excited for the QR code. And that's where all of our events will be. Any big upcoming events, if we have them, I'll also let you know that too at our, our next meetings that we have coming. We do have some in the fall, but as of right now, nothing big. And then I don't know, do you have another page there? If not, it's okay. So extra news. This is the part that I get excited about. So if I ramble, you can tell me to go sit down. But with our QR code, it is our welcome to Salado. This is where you get, these businesses have events coming. This is where people get excited to come to Salado, what's going on in Salado, what they like to do. So we are really trying to ramp that up. Ideally, I'd like to see our QR code in all of our hotel rooms and maybe eventually in our businesses. I had seen where a QR code in College Station a couple of weeks ago was an acrylic in every room. It was also on their TV, so that whatever's going on in town, that is, you're at the hotel, so that's what you have. So that's what we are working on right now, is keeping that updated and getting that going. And I am already connecting with our local businesses and our hotel owners so that we can start working on getting that bigger and better. 3 weeks, we're in 3 weeks, but I'd like to see it really flourish as far as that goes. And then we're also working very strongly on our social media, and we have some really cool things coming up. We're working on some fall, starting in the fall, I'll leave that for later so you can see the surprise. I would just say please follow Facebook. We would like to start doing interviews with our business owners. We know that everybody is talented. They all have a story to tell. And so we are going to be promoting everybody as often as we can. So with that, it's just really a matter of us connecting with businesses. We're already doing that. I don't know if you've seen Melanie out and about or have already heard. I've already gotten thank yous from our business owners. So we've got a great team going, and we'll be also working on our Instagram music. Anybody have anything?
Do we get access back to our Village of Salado Facebook page, the city government Facebook page?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Are you running that?
I'm working on that right now, and then as a matter of fact, Gina and I were just talking about that, and I've got a class that's going to talk about what to do with social media for a municipality, and I'm going to have her join it with me so we can know the compliance side of that, and then we'll work on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else have any questions?
Deanna, I think I already know the answer to this, but just keep me straight here.
Yep.
With your marketing and communication plan that you're putting in place, how much are you working in concert or syncing up with the Chamber of Commerce with respect to their efforts as well?
Yep, so I work right next door to Amanda. She and I are extremely close as far as that goes. So whatever she needs, I help. Whatever I need, she helps. And then we collaborate together with a lot of things with our businesses. So, yes, sir. And I do expect to see these numbers go up now that our app is up and running. And once we get even more events and they see that, I'll see more of the downloads, those numbers get higher.
Mayor and Alderman, if I may add, what she was referencing was TML has a webinar on social media policy and legal issues. It is recommended that she take this because I anticipate that sometime in the future we will present a policy on social media to you.
That's good stuff. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna. That was a great report. Thank you. Okay. Item 7, discussion of possible action. Item A, discuss and possible action on approval of an audit engagement letter with Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates PC in the amount of $15,900. Mr. De La Rosa.
Mayor and Alderman, Mr. Phil Vaughn with the auditing firm is here, so I'll let him go to the lectern and explain this contract that's been presented to you.
Mr. Rosa, you said my name's Phil Vaughn from Armstrong Vaughn Associates. We've audited the village the last 5 years. So what you have in front of you is a standard contract to continue that to 2024 for your consideration. There is a little bit of a fee increase in there of $2,500. When Mr. Ferguson asked us to come out here the first year 5 years ago, we worked with him to try to keep those fees as low as we possibly could, and your growth and development agreements have eaten our lunch. So we've taken us longer than we wanted it to the last couple of years, so we have that small increase in there to try to accommodate how many hours we're spending. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
None at this time.
Alderman Hurst? Alderman McDonald?
Yes, I do. Hello, sir. What's your hourly rate? Because you said the hours added. How are you calculating that? My hourly rate is $315. I tend to be the one that's involved, which is so that you guys have a relationship with the department that's in charge. We have lesser staff that usually help me, and they range anywhere from 125 to 175. And so depending on how much we lean on them versus having me do it, but it's probably some of that fee discrepancy. And because of you guys' development agreements, they're a little bit more involved than some of our other municipalities. So that's usually why I'm more involved on the engagement. And you're probably in the middle range of where our municipalities are. So most of them that are a little bit larger than you guys, and they're in the $20,000 range, and we have probably 3 or 4 that are less than you guys that are a little bit smaller and not as complicated. Thank you for answering my question, sir.
Mr. Mayor, if I may ask a question. Mr. Vaughn, on page 6, under fees and timing, did you explain should a single audit be required, additional fees will be $4,000? Would you at least clarify that?
Yes, so Mr. Ferguson, when we originally started, was worried about federal grants, and you had a program at that time that you were working through, and the federal single audit is required if you spend more than $750,000 in any one period of federal awards. And so at that time, we put that in as a separate fee in case you hit that threshold. And there's additional compliance requirements we have to perform and submit it to the federal government. You didn't actually end up hitting that in that original year, so we've kept that additional possibility in there in case one of these grants come through that you guys are kind of having in the works, and if it ends up being federal.
So in other words, the West Village Road in the future would qualify.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Bell?
No, I'm good.
All right, thank you, Mr. Long, appreciate you. At this time, I'm going to open this up to public comments if anybody wants to get up and speak on this agenda item. Nope. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Mr. De La Rosa? Alderman Graham?
This would be just for this upcoming year.
That is correct. Fiscal year 2025 only.
Alderman Hurst? Alderman McDonald?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Bell? All right, if there are no more questions, I will entertain a motion at this time.
Mayor, I make a motion to pass discussion item A as written.
Motion made by Alderman McDonald to approve discussion A as written.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Graham. Any further discussion? Question has been called by Alderman Hurst. All in favor of approval of an audit engagement letter with Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates, PC, in the amount of $15,900, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Being that passes 4-0. Item B, discuss and possible action on approval of an interlocal agreement between the Village of Salado and Bell County pertaining to the Salado Center development. Mr. De La Rosa.
Okay, this is an agreement between the village and Bell County, or more specifically the Commissioners Court. This will provide for the county engineer to inspect some of the infrastructure that's already been constructed by the Salado Center developer over in the Peachy area that was not inspected or permitted by the city of Belton. A portion of the roadway that will be near the Starbucks lies within Belton city limits. Part of the ongoing discussions are a swap of land, equal land for equal, both the village and Belton. But the portion that was within city of Belton, they would prefer that the county engineer um, look out for Belton's best interest, working with the city engineers for the village of Salado. So therefore, this is a two-party agreement to satisfy the city of Belton's concerns as part of that release. So what I propose is that the county engineer didn't have any authority. This would give him authority that he would be inspecting infrastructure either in the city of Belton that's going to be hopefully part of the land swap, some of it that is in Salado's ETJ and not in the city limits that will most likely be in the future, and then so this is part of an agreement. The other agreement will be the escrow agreement that we would probably put together so we get reimbursed, or what I've indicated to the developer is that any fees associated, legal engineering, that we are subject, including the county engineer's time, would be subject to reimbursement. So, but this is a two-party agreement. It's been presented to the county engineer, our county commissioner, and the county judge. There were some emails back and forth between the county judge and I think he's satisfied. If this infrastructure gets accepted by the Village of Salado, it would come with a 2-year warranty bond, which is the same thing that the county now requires as a warranty. So we've got those safeguards in place should we accept this infrastructure. So we are currently reviewing test reports, but not the county engineer. He won't start reviewing until we have this agreement. So, any questions?
No, Mayor.
What expense are we out here? Are we out any expense?
You're probably out a little bit from MRB, getting some of the reports. I would say you're probably about 1,500 right now.
Because in reading this, I see that it sounds like Bell County's paying for the inspection, and they're paying for that portion. Any chance we get rebilled for that work?
Well, no, the county's not paying for anything. The Belton requested that the county engineer act as the facilitator, right? So Bell County will request, which we will put that in an escrow agreement. This just allows the county engineer to even proceed through that. So your agreement with Bell County gives you authority over anything in Salado's ETJ. So, but Belton doesn't want to incur any costs, so they would rather have the county engineer do that and then work out something with us.
So is there a like agreement Belton is doing with the county that is similar to this for their portion? Because I see this as us in the county, but I hear Belton, but I don't see Belton involved in it.
No. The only thing I have from the Belton city manager is that they will not entertain that the Belton City Council will not consider the swap until the county engineer reviews the test reports.
Okay. So we could go through this process and they still not entertain.
They could.
Okay. I'm fine with moving forward with it. I just want everybody to understand that there's no hook in here that says they absolutely have to move forward just because the county may come back with clean everything's good, and then they throw their hands up and go, no, we don't want to move forward.
Well, let me, still all part of this discussion. It has taken me 3 months to get here, right? So, the portion of Starbucks, I would say 80%, maybe 90%, of the Starbucks building and property is within Salado's ETJ, and the only portion that is within Belton city limits is part of a driveway and parking lot. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, you know, the developer should move forward with the Starbucks annex into Salado. It is very common to have commercial properties in two different cities and city limits. So the delay is not the village. So some of the roadway infrastructure that has been built is already in Salado's ETJ. So some of this can move forward, but I certainly, you know, they would like to move forward. So the best assurance that we have is our escrow agreement with the Collins family, so we get reimbursed whatever expenses.
So to Mayor Pro Tem Bell's point, if we went through this whole process and got the county involved and they did everything and gave their blessing, and Belton decided they didn't want to do this, that would be demonstrating very bad faith on their part.
We are all moving forward in good faith, and I hope that everybody maintains that good faith.
All right. I'm going to open this up to public comments now. If anybody would like to get up and speak about this. Who? Okay. Any further questions for Mr. De La Rosa? No? Good. All right. I'm going to open the floor up for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we.
Go ahead.
All right. I'll make a motion that we approve an interlocal agreement between the Village of Salado and Bell County pertaining to the Salado Center development.
Motion made by Alderman Graham to approve as written and seconded by Alderman Hurst. Any further discussion on this?
Question?
Question has been called by Alderman McDonald. All in favor of approval of the interlocal agreement between the Village of Salado and Bell County pertaining to the Salado Center development, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Passes 4-0, Ms. Bean. Item C is discuss and possible action on approval of the cyber liability and data breach response interlocal agreement with Texas Municipal League Intergovernmental Risk Pool. That's a mouthful. Mr. De La Rosa.
Yes, we currently have cyber coverage, risk of any type of cyber attack. It is currently it's a 3-tier system. We're at tier 1. We may be able to qualify for tier 2. We were looking at that, which means that we have to have certain protocols in place, 2-step authentication. Some of our systems aren't quite set up there, but we certainly have improved a lot of our security measures on our system. Texas Municipal League is your insurance carrier, right? Texas Municipal League has several divisions. One is the municipal risk, the risk pool that insures the police department and those type of activities, and then we have our insurance coverage. So this is just TML. They apparently they're going to create a fund. They want you to sign up. There are now some differences, and if you'll notice, there's a cost estimate on page 4 of 4. We're currently paying about $175 in coverage. If we maintain this core, which is what we have, it's going to increase from $175 a year to $1,000. If you do the core plus, that is $247. It would increase to $1,250. We're not quite there. We don't have all the precautions in place, so therefore we would only have the coverage for the core at this time. We don't have 2-step authentication. We don't have other things in our system. We're probably little ways from doing that in another year or two. So therefore, your increase would be that 175 to 1,000. It is important that you have cyber coverage. You know, any type of malware, any type of somebody locking us out of, we do have, without getting into a lot of the security, we have protocols, systems are backed up, how much information we would lose. I mean, all of those things we have in place. I can have those discussions. I don't like sharing those with the public, but we have some precautions in place. You should always protect your data, right? So, and those are some of the conversations that I've had early on with our IT department. So my recommendation is that you maintain this coverage, go with the pool, approve this new interlocal agreement. our city attorneys reviewed it, any agreement that, you know, if there's nothing in it that's going to harm us, but it is certainly very standard.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. De La Rosa? Alderman Graham?
So we're bumping from 175 to 1,000.
Yes, sir. And this would be, you have to sign the agreement by the end of September. It's for the next fiscal year, so we would incorporate these costs for the new year.
Alderman Hurst? Alderman McDonald?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Bell?
You mentioned multi-factor authentication, so with our email, we're on M365 or Office 365, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Does that not have the two-factor authentication in place now?
Yes, sir. It doesn't.
Mine
I
does.
think the new server may resolve some of that, and that's in the next budget year. So, but there are some other things that, you know, we may be lacking, my understanding.
Yeah, because on the core, yeah, it's going up from 175 to 1,000, but
But the
our
difference
limits are
between-
also dropping from $1 million down
Yeah.
to 300,000. So it is more money for less coverage.
Yes.
I mean, but
No, and I get
some
it.
coverage
and-
gonna
yeah.
be better than none. I just wanted to know how far away are we from, because going to the next level of coverage for $250 is a pretty good price for that cybersecurity coverage.
Yes,
But,
sir.
you know, we're taking a big bump up right now. So I'd just like to know that what steps need to be taken to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, and we will now. Let me kind of explain something. You have access through city email, not on city devices.
Right.
Right? Those are challenges. Right? So it's limited what you can get to, but you can get into our email pathway. So we've had discussions that in the future we would remedy those with issuance of, you know, Surface Pros tablets or something like that. But there are protocols for those kind of things, and there's also testing. A testing department that was probably adopted 2 legislative sessions ago. So city staff takes it. I know you haven't. So there are certain protocols, and when we get those attacks, they're going to look for those records. Are you compliant with state law? Are you? So that's what I'm saying. So we are working through this. TML is only going to have this 2 tiers. There's currently 3 tiers. So trying to figure out exactly, you know, why they're doing this. I mean, okay, look, they're trying to explain to you that they don't know what it's going to be. And there have been cities in Texas that have already had their systems locked. They did not have any protocols of backing it up. Went to a server somewhere other than that city, and are you in the cloud, right? All of those, and we have no policies on it. So without those policies in place and those protocols, you're at the base level.
Bill?
Just got a question about two-factor authentication. Recently, my email, like I went to log on in my house, and it popped up saying that I needed Microsoft Authenticator app. Anyway, that's something the first time I've experienced that in 3.5 years. I'm wondering if it's connected or tied to this in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
We've been beefing up our Microsoft 365. We've got today shared. It's something that something we can do now. So we weren't taking full advantage of all of it. So we finally got on the cloud base. I mean, we've had our IT consultant here a lot lately, trying to start up some of the software that we just hadn't implemented. So that's probably why you're getting those messages. Yes.
All right, I probably just need to get marked out after this. Anyway,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Get your son to show you. You can probably explain it better.
Probably. I tried to download the app, and then it tried to make me pay for something, and I was like, I'm not paying. Anyway, back to that.
Okay, I know this is super exciting. So any public comments on this? No? All right, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I make a motion to approve 7C as written. Second that.
Motion made by Alderman Hurst to approve cyber liability and data breach response in the local agreement with TML Intergovernmental Risk Pool, and seconded by Alderman Graham. Any further discussion on that?
Question?
I'll just say real quick, Manny, it's not any different throughout the entire business world. Cybersecurity insurance is going up, and the limits are going down. I mean, and if they can find the least little thing that makes you non-compliant, they're going to cancel you. So, the fact that you're going through a pool, which in respect to doing through T&L, I think kind of helps because strength in numbers. So, I would just strongly encourage you to keep pushing, try to move to a better level than where we are today. Keep doing that.
Will do.
And with that question was followed by Alderman McDonald. All in favor of approval as written, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? It passes, Ms. Bean, 4-0. Item 7D, discuss and possible action on ratifying the approval of Mayor Bert Henry's nomination to serve as a small and rural representative on the Killeen Temple Metropolitan Planning Organization Technical Advisory Committee for the remainder of the fiscal year 2024, term ending September 30th, 2024, and fiscal year 2025, term beginning on October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025. I'll speak to a little bit of this, and then Danny can chime in. We've not, K-Tempo is kind of the authority that gets us these projects with Royal Street and all the other things that we kind of have on our books right now. I went through and looked at their meeting minutes over the past 3 years, and we've had representation at 5 meetings in 3 years, and that's not acceptable. We're going to be overlooked for a lot of things if we don't start getting a seat at that table. And it was brought to our attention that there was going to be an opening on that board. My name was thrown in there, and it's already been sent to the board via email, approved that way. But today's agenda item is to ratify that, and it was, I guess, their board selected it yesterday, and I haven't heard anything back, so I have no idea.
And Mayor, it's actually on July 24th.
The 24th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyway, that's that.
Next Wednesday, so we should be attending that meeting, and we'll
Yeah.
hear,
Okay.
good talk.
You got anything else to add to that?
If I may add, Ms. Pence has already attended the first PAC meeting, which is the Technical Advisory Committee. The mayor would be a representative from the policy board to the TAC as a voting member. She attends as a guest to look out for our best interests. But it is certainly highly recommended that an elected official, mayor or other aldermen, participate in these, whether it's the Central Texas Council of Government or the Killeen Temple MPO, because that is how you get funding for your project, by participating.
And this seat is for a voting member.
It's a voting member, yes.
Okay. I'll open this up for public comments. Nope. Okay. Open it for questions. Alderman Graham, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions.
Alderman Hurst? Alderman McDonald?
Yeah, you said Mayor, you said of those years, we've only attended 5 meetings, right, as a representation. How many meetings do they have a year?
They one once a month.
Or once a month or so? Okay, that's a lot of meetings missed.
Yeah.
Thank you for the answer.
Okay. If there's not any more questions, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I motion, Mayor, to approve item D as written.
Motion made by Alderman McDonald to approve as written.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Graham. Any further discussion? Question called by Alderman Hurst. All in favor of ratifying approval for me to serve as the small and rural representative on the Killeen Temple Metropolitan Planning Organizational Technical Advisory Committee, if selected by their board. All in favor say yes.
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 Any opposed? That passes Ms. Bean 4-0. Next item is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, so moved. Thank you all for coming and sticking around.